guys, just so I can get a good sense of who we have in the room. As far as like your year, how many freshmen do we have? Okay, a few freshmen. All right, sophomores. Cool. Juniors. All right, and seniors. Wow, okay, awesome. So a nice little mix. That's really cool. What about majors? Have we got marketing majors in here? Cool. That's my degree, marketing manager. Love it. Awesome. What about VIT? Cool. A few accounting. That's tough stuff. Cool. What's left? What am I missing? Finance. Yes. Last but not least. All right, cool. Do we have are all brothers here? Do we have some rushers?
We do have some rushes, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you guys for coming out. It's really cool. Again, thank you guys for letting me to come here. I'm going to be spending a lot of time today speaking to you about what it takes to start a business, take an idea from a startup. I talk a lot about what my passion is, what drives me. Talk about the importance of learning, and really, if you are an aspiring entrepreneur, to find the importance of finding a mentor early on. But I do want to tell you again a little bit about Follow My Vote, and I'll tell you about. I'll run through my recommended approach to starting a startup using Follow My Vote as kind of what I've done with Follow My Vote as a way to kind of lead the conversation, if that makes sense. Cool. So Follow My Vote, our website is followmyvote.com. We're developing a verifiable online voting system to bring voting into the modern age. And by verifiable, I mean when you vote, the idea is that you would use this system in an election. You'd be able to vote from your smartphone or any device that's connected to the internet. When you vote in the election, you'd actually be able to follow your vote into the ballot box and actually confirm that your vote was cast as intended and counted as cast. So we developed a system that allows you to gain transparency into an actual election so that everyone involved in the election can prove that the results were accurate. So it's really, really game-changing stuff. There's nothing out there like that exists. But let me just dive right in. And I do a lot of the stuff that we're working on is super technical, so I don't want to get into the weeds. However, if you guys have questions at all throughout this presentation, feel free to raise your hand. I'll be upset if you don't ask me at least a few questions. I'm going to try to run through these slides really quickly so we can leave a lot of time for you guys to ask questions. And there's one really cool video at the end I want to show you guys too. But without further ado, let's get started. Found this really cool infographic right here. Everybody know what an infographic is? Cool. It's just a graphic that helps inform you about something. You typically get a process or it's data driven. This is a really cool infographic I found online telling you about how to start a startup. And like I said, I'm going to take you through these processes in the context of Follow My Vote and how we went through this process. You can see here it suggests live in the future. And that sounds a little bit crazy. How can you live in the future? But when you begin to start, like I said before, you really, really should focus on your pathway. Before you really dive in, how many aspiring entrepreneurs do we have here? Anyone? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Just 3? Okay. Awesome. Cool. Oh. All right, cool. Oh, okay. We got a bunch of other swag. People ask really good questions and things like that. We'll be dishing it out as we go along through the presentation. But if you're an aspiring entrepreneur and really want to start a startup, it's important that you follow your passion. What really makes your heart beat? What makes your eyes light up? When you talk, what are you talking about? For me, I've always been very passionate about politics. Very interested in power structures and trying to understand the ways of the world and really how we've gotten to this point today in society. Freedom, truth are two things that are very important to me. When I was down in doing internet marketing in South Florida. One of the things that I realized was that there was a gap that was growing kind of between our federal government and the people of the United States. And one thing I realized is it didn't seem to me that the United States government was truly representing the role of the people, and I originally started with the idea of Follow My Vote was to build an application so that people could connect with their elected officials and vote on policy and legislation and be able to inform their legislators on where they truly stand on the issues. And hopefully over time, the people, our congressmen voting in Washington, their votes would become a little bit more representative of the people over time. Our government and our laws in which they're passing become much more representative, and so that we truly live in a much more free society. That was kind of my idea. I moved back to Blacksburg, and shortly after coming back here, I found out about blockchain technology. So we're in a very, very rare moment in history where technology is just being introduced that has the potential to change everything. Blockchain technology right now is like the internet was back in the early 90s. Blockchain technology was actually introduced as the underlying technology behind Bitcoin. It's a cryptocurrency, a digital currency. The really cool thing about blockchain technology is that it's just a simple way to store data in a database in a publicly verifiable way. It's an accurate record of history that can be verified and mathematically proven over time. And probably people are saying that Bitcoin was great, and it's disrupting the finance industry right now because it's a new type of digital currency. But the reality is that blockchain technology has far-reaching applications, and there's a lot of different things that you can do with blockchain technology. When I learned about blockchain technology, I realized that it is a perfect fit for voting. And there are various aspects. When you're talking about designing a voting system, security is a huge issue, right? This is just an example, and this is as far as I'll get into the tech. I don't want to bore you or lose you guys. But I wanted to quickly explain blockchain technology and how it stores data in a database. So over here, right here, you have a centralized database. That's what the majority of databases today, that all data is stored in one central location. And if anybody tries to access that database or wants to hack that database, say it's a voting system and they want to hack in and change a bunch of votes. Well, if there's only one single source of truth, if the hacker were to come in and change votes, someone could actually come in and do that, change a bunch of votes, and no one would be the wiser, right? They would have no idea. There's nothing else to compare it to, right? The cool thing about blockchain technology is there isn't just one database, there's a bunch of databases, and they all have the exact same copy of the database. And they're all constantly checking each other to make sure that everyone's copies match. And as new records are matched, everyone gets an updated copy. So what's really cool is that, if someone were to try to hack one of these computers and change a bunch of votes, all these other computers will detect that and block that and say, no, we can detect that's not a legitimate record. And so we're going to disregard that. And so what's really cool is that, in this day and age, right, how many times you hear of some companies' servers getting hacked? You heard of Sony Pictures, you have Target, you have Home Depot. Nothing's safe anymore if it's online. Well, that's what most people think, and that's the big challenge that we're going through is that, if you're going to try to develop an online voting system, there's no way you can do it in a secure way. That was true up until blockchain technology. The fact that it's been introduced is giving me an opportunity to do some game-changing stuff in the voting industry. And I realized, when I learned about blockchain technology and thinking about the path that my company was already on, I said, really what is missing from the world? You have electronic voting systems. Voting is a industry that's been dominated by a handful of companies for decades now. They have no incentive to innovate and no incentive to push for big changes. And one of the things that I realized in looking at blockchain technology and kind of looking at the path that I was on, what was missing was an online voting system. I was like, this can actually pave the way for us to do online voting in a secure way. Light bulb went off and I was like, all right, that's it, that's what we're doing. And I set out, did a year ago, this past 4th of July. the 4th of July of 2014 is when we decided to pivot our business and really go after this and disrupt the voting industry by using this technology to bring voting online and be the first ones to really do it. So that's what we're doing. And this is just some statistics from the Forrester Research Center. But I just wanted to show you the trend and the fact that the world truly is coming online. If you think about all the things that we do online, this day and age, I mean, banking, shopping, you can do pretty much everything online except for voting. So again, that's one of the reasons why we wanted to target and develop an online voting system, is because this is what's happening. By 2019, the majority of the population in the world will have a smartphone. So that's pretty mind-blowing. So we're developing a system that ultimately you can use to vote with and vote from your smartphone. Hopefully, we will be the company that will allow you to vote for president one day on your smartphone. These are just different attributes of blockchain technology and why it is such a good fit for an online voting system. Part of, if I back up, part of the process, so we've already covered, just to recap real quick, kind of living in the future, kind of knowing what industry you're in and what industry you want to go into, figuring out what already exists, but what is missing. That's what we did here, live in the future, and then what is missing. So we figured out what was missing, and we decided, okay, if we're going to develop an online voting system, how do we actually do that? Write it down, figure out what is our approach going to be. And this is that step that illustrates that step in the process. We wrote it down. We have come up, this is, I won't go too far into this for a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to bore you guys, but two, we're actually working on filing a patent application to get this process right here patented. We've developed a ballot issuing process that protects people's anonymity so that you can vote online and still be able to verify your vote in the ballot box without anyone else being able to connect you to your vote. I mean, that's a huge thing, right? Go ahead.
How would you be able to prevent people from voting more than once?
Sure. So the very first step of the process is when you're going to use our system is you would use your smartphone, you would access the application, right? The very first step would be to have your identity verified. So there are a lot of different ways that you can verify your identity. Biometric data would be like scanning your retina, doing your thumbprint, even heartbeat, heart monitoring type of stuff. So biometric feedback is one way. It's information-based verification, like if you're going to apply for a mortgage loan, or you guys probably, but if you're going to buy a car or open a bank account and things like that, a lot of times they'll do information-based verification where did you live at this on such and such date, or what car did you own on this date, and a lot of creditors credit score companies, those kind of companies have a ton of data on pretty much everyone, and they have systems that you can connect to and kind of verify people's information that way. A third way would be like with your ID card, right? And I'll actually demonstrate here really quickly. I'll show you. The next step of the process, once you write it down, is to really take that from being on paper and go out and do it and develop a prototype. So I'm glad you asked that question, and that'll be a good segue. I'll just skip through our process and show you. This is going to go quick. So if you guys, it's like a 1-minute video. I recorded a demonstration set to music that runs through the entire process of using this proof of concept system. And this will be the third way. I'll show you it now. Says, so right here, you can take a picture of your face and the front and back of your ID card. Right? That information is going to be submitted to Identity Verifier, and they're going to check to make sure it's a legit ID, and compare your face to your ID and say, okay, this person is who they say they are, their ID looks legit, they're allowed to vote. They can issue their ballot, they can go through the process of filling out their who they want to vote for in each of one of these contests, and ultimately they submit their information. I'm going to start getting one of the things that, what's cool is that actually I could give you guys a live demo. I have the software installed on this computer if you want, if you have time. But one of the cool things is right here, you can't really see it, but there's a voter ID, right? You're given a voter ID when you would access the system. And your voter ID, only if you know what your voter ID is, right? But using this voter ID, once you vote, you can go into the ballot box. You see this little link that says open the ballot box. It'll take you right into the ballot box and show you your vote. Let me drag it really quickly. But this would be like a reporting interface where anyone could go who's participating in the election, or anyone who wants to audit the results of the election could really quickly scan the ballot box. And you can see it's actually pre-filtered for my vote in this case. And I'll show you as you go through. This is who I voted for, this is my voter ID, and this is the actual vote. There's a long string of alphanumeric characters that is this particular vote. And you can see that right here in the very end, that ID actually matches, you go back, and it matches the ID here. So this is just demonstrating the user experience someone that would go through if they did vote in our system. Yes?
So once you're verified, are you basically making an account? So you would always log into that account for anything you would vote on, or do you have to re-verify for every different thing you would vote on?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We can do it a lot of different ways. One of the things, at least for a particular election, one of the cool things about the system, we're proposing, not only have we designed a system that allows you to verify your vote, but there's a lot of other cool things that we can do with the system. One of those being continuous polling. We're allowing people to vote early. If you think about it, how who voted in the last election? Okay, cool. Did you vote absentee or did you show up at the? You're absentee, okay, right? So you voted early, right? You fill out a piece of paper, voted early, and submitted it, right? So people right now are voting early, and they're writing it down and they're mailing it in. So one of the things that we're proposing, in a way we might be able to actually change the way we vote here in the United States, is to allow people to vote early and vote online, and go ahead and tentatively place their vote. And maybe you open the polls up 30 days before the actual election day, right? You let people go in and vote tentatively and say, okay, this person right now has got my vote, they got my support. And in the days leading up to the election, if you say you watch a debate and the person you had your vote given to does a horrible job, or you find out something about their past, they have a dark past, like they've done some shady stuff, and it gets exposed. Well, instead of you having to, be forced to stick with that vote, and end up ultimately voting for someone you don't really support at the end of the day, we want to give you an option to re-access the system and change your vote in the days leading up to your election. And really, once the polls close, then everything is fine. But if you think about the implications of that, one of the things that could allow us to do is challenge the two-party system here in the United States. So you think about a lot of times, people don't vote for the independent candidate, because most people think it's a waste of a vote, right? You're just throwing your vote away if you don't vote Republican and you don't vote Democrat. Because statistically, independent candidates don't really win. It's hard for them to get support. And that's one of the main reasons why is because they can't seem to gain enough traction, enough support early on. And so people think that voting for them would be throwing their vote away. But if you can vote early and say, hey, this person's got my support, you can see support building for various candidates before the results are kind of final. And it would allow a third-party candidate to really start to gain traction and support. So people start to really look at that and say, okay, well, I'm gonna let that ride. I'm gonna really vote for that person. So that just by having that feature in place, we could potentially challenge the two-party system. Anyway, I want to go to the next slide. Just to reiterate, we went over just write it down and making a prototype. The next step is really to get your ass out there and show everyone. Talk about your idea. Talk about what you developed. Show it off. Show people. Let people tear you to shreds. Some people are going to like it. Some people are going to hate it. But, I think you should do this, or I think you should do that. So that's what we did. We got invited out by the California Association of Voting Officials to go to a CA-CEO conference in Sacramento, California, in late 2014. This is us here. You see Will and Nathan. We showed up strong. Nathan and I actually worked day in and day out leading up to this conference to develop our prototype, the system that I just showed you. We were very, very proud of it. again, we got contacted by them. They saw what we were doing, and they said, you know what, this is some advanced stuff, and we think this has got some potential. Come out and demonstrate and show. So we went to this conference, and I got up in a room similar to this, and got up and showed off our technology. We got a ton of feedback. People will say, oh, this won't work, or oh, that won't work, or oh, I like this. This is pretty cool. So going out there and putting yourself out there and demonstrating your technology, demonstrating what you built, I think open to constructive criticism is crucial. Because no one hits a grand slam out of the gate. You got to really work and refine your prototype over time. And so we've been taking suggestions, and we learned a lot there. Another voting demo that we did was at NewSpark. We actually got our start in NewSpark. NewSpark is a local startup space here in Blacksburg. They really try to help people take an idea and turn it into a business. I'm just going to put time check real quick. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to blow through this. But really great here. I don't know if you can tell, this is the mayor here, Ron Wardham. There was a bunch of prominent people in Blacksburg that came out to this celebration. This was a 1-year celebration of this startup space here in Blacksburg. Fall Development was one of the 3 companies to date that have graduated from this space. So we now have offices located at the corporate research, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in just a minute. But this was a great opportunity to demo our software. And just about a month later, I was invited by the Pirate Party of Norway to go fly out to Oslo, Norway. They had a national meeting of their Pirate Party is a political party. It exists in 61 countries throughout the world. It's actually very big in certain countries, particularly in Iceland. They're about to take over majority control over parliament in their next election. They have gained their whole thing. Pirate Party sounds like a bad name, right? Like they're doing some crazy stuff. But Pirate Party, they're all about transparency when it comes to government, transparency and accountability. They're all about leveraging technology to improve the political process. They're really they're really pushing for establishing more of like a direct democracy in the various states that they're in. They want more of a say and more control over the direction that their countries go. So they saw our technology and saw what could be done with it, invited us to come out. And I had a really, really awesome demonstration. They invited me to speak for like 30 minutes. It went on for an hour and a half, and they were asking me a million questions. You're seeing the chalkboard back here. I drew out a diagram, how our process works and all this other stuff. It was a really cool experience because pretty much starting out, everyone in the room was just ripping me to shreds. And I felt like I was the Matrix, like dodging bullets, and they were coming at me and just saying, "Oh, it won't work because of this, or like this or that." All these objections, and it was really good experience for me because I was able to listen to all these different arguments and why our technology wouldn't work. Handle myself very well. Was able to convince them, one after the other, shoot down these arguments, and then the room went from the majority of people just saying this is not going to work to the majority of people saying when can we use like super excited. So that was a really positive, awesome experience. I already talked about me. This is a little bit more about me. As you can see, just going back here, as far as the next steps, showing people the prototype and iterating on that prototype. And once you feel like you really have something, one of the most important things is to make sure that you have the team in place to truly bring your vision to reality. I would highly recommend any of you guys that are looking to go out and start your own business that you find at least one other person, a co-founder. Starting a business is not easy at all. It's a lot of time and effort, a lot of stress, and there's a lot to do. It's really hard for one person to be a one-man shop, and let's be honest, not everyone's got it all figured out. It helps to have someone to bounce ideas off of, to brainstorm, someone to hold you accountable, to have an accountability partner. The reality is, even if you think you have, depending on who you are, the reality is you're going to need someone. You don't have all the skills. Like, you have an idea, right? I had this idea and I had this business, but I'm not a technical expert. My background is in marketing management. I've been business and marketing for the last 10 years. I knew if I really wanted to be successful, if you're trying to start a software development company, you need people who can develop software. Go figure. But But the greatest thing about my experience here in Virginia is that I connected with Nathan. Nathan, again, is one of the, he is the co-founder that I found. He is, but with our powers combined, we are Captain Flint. No, I'm just kidding. But we can actually bring this to life. That's all we really need. Will couldn't I can't say enough about Will. I wouldn't even be here if I if Will hadn't been there from day one, really helping us build and market this idea to a point where we had something that we could work with. So Will has been an invaluable player on the team as well. This is the core team here. You have me, myself right here, and ZY659. You have Nathan. This is my brother. He lives out in California. He's got a degree in criminal justice, minor in political science. He's serving as our political consultant. And then we have Will, of course, ZY904. Will has grown by leaps and bounds. I'm very, very proud of Will. He came in during, just an intern, spring semester of 2014. He was employee number one. We brought him on and we were able to put him on payroll and make him an official employee in the fall of last year. Really excited to be able to come back to Blacksburg, come to Virginia Tech and recruit, especially being able to recruit a DSP member was really rewarding for me. We're now located at, part of starting a startup is actually incorporate your business, right? I mean, if you want to start making money, you need a corporation. One of the things I'm very familiar with this at this point is corporate structure. So if you think about starting a business, it's very important that you get the corporate structure right, and you set up the kind of company that will set you up for success depending on what you want to do. We have obviously incorporated our business, and then we're now located at the Virginia Tech Corporate Research Center. Here's our address here. Feel free to come by and visit us at any time. Our doors are always open. And we'll get into some other stuff here a little later, but I'm more than willing to serve as a mentor for any one of you guys who is looking to learn more about entrepreneurship and start their own business. Every business owner survives has to make money. At the end of the day, you really can't get going unless you have a budget. You have business expenses you have to pay for. So most people, especially startups these days, are finding investors. They're finding VCs. Fortunately, I was able to actually save up enough money working down in South Florida in my internet marketing agency. I was able to put enough money aside for me a little nest egg. So I finally reached a point where I could go off on my own and start my own business. So to this day, I have bootstrapped this entire business. I haven't taken a single dollar from anyone to get to where I'm at today in terms of investor money. So we have some big plans for the future. We have a lot of things that we're looking to do. So in the days ahead, I'll likely be getting much more experience with seeking out investors, because I do think we're going to be raising anywhere from $3 to $5 million to get to where we need to be. And so as I learn about really pitching to investors and really going out there to negotiate deals and whatnot, I'd be happy to transfer that knowledge on to you guys. But yeah, again, I was able to fund this business, and we got to this point, and just in the nick of time, we have just secured our first client. Using the technology that we have, we're going to be developing a stake-weighted voting system for the BitShares community. The BitShares, again, is a cryptocurrency, and if you think about it, you can also think about a company and the currency being shares in that company. BitShares exists as a software, and there are a lot of different. They have some big plans too, and a lot of things that they want to do to further develop their software. And so they want to be able to vote on whether or not they should add this feature or that feature or do various things. And so when I say we're building a stake-weighted voting system, we're building a voting system for the BitShares community where each person can vote. That kind of poll, like, hey, we want to add this feature, everyone vote on it. So everyone gets a vote, but their vote is weighted proportional to the amount of BitShares that they own, the amount of stake that they have in the company. So if you think about it from that perspective, does that make sense at all? Okay, awesome. So if you think about it, what we're really actually building is a proxy voting system. This same system could be used by corporations all throughout the world. Proxy voting is something that's done every year by any publicly traded company. There's pretty much one company called proxyvoting.com that is dominating the space, and we hope to eat their lunch one day. And so this is going to be developing the software for them. We're going to be able to not only fulfill our contract with BitShares, but we're also going to be able to use that code as repurpose that code for doing proxy voting for the company. And not only that, that's going to serve as a foundation for us to build on the one person, one vote voting system. Right now, I demonstrated the proof of concept system. So we don't yet have a commercially viable software that people can actually go download and use right now. So we're still in the phase of actually taking our prototype and making it something that's ready for the market. So just want to let you guys know that. But again, this is a project that we just got started on this. We're shooting, I don't want to make any promises, but we're shooting for a code completion date of November 17th. If all goes well, we'll be putting a marketing campaign in place thereafter and launching sometime in the middle of December. It's going to be a huge deal. There's nothing like this that currently exists in the cryptocurrency space. And so it's going to make some really big headlines and really add to our credibility and put us kind of in the forefront of further extend our lead with respect to blockchain-based voting systems. Really quickly, I do want to let you guys know that we're still, although we've kind of, at least with respect to BitShares and the stake-weighted voting system, we've kind of gotten to this point where we're going out there and we're actually building a system. But we are exploring, we're looking to talk to organizations, whether it be student organizations, political parties, whatever the case may be. There's a ton of different use cases when it comes to voting. And I get contact requests on our website every day. It's like, hey, we want to use your voting system for this. We want to use your voting system for that. So we want to make sure that before we commit to a big full-scale project that we have all of our use cases nailed down. And so one of the things I'd hope to get from you guys this semester is your use cases. Now, if you think about, again, voting system, there's a lot of different ways you can use it. So I would love to get your guys' feedback, because ultimately, when we finish this system, we want you guys to be the first organization to use it and be beta testers and help us further refine the product. So ask yourself that question: how will you use it? Does anybody have any ideas in terms of how you guys might be able to use the system? I mean, of course, you have the obvious one: hosting elections, right? I mean, you guys have elections at least once a semester, right? So at the end, is it only like November or April, depending on the semester, or does it go all like December, May? December, May. Okay, perfect. Give us one time. So cool. December, May. So I think that's a no-brainer use case, right? So we would love, like I said, once it's ready for you guys to be able to use this for your chapter elections. We're going to make this work. A big market out there, I think, is for fraternities and sororities. And so we're working to connect with as many fraternities and sororities on campus as we can. Again, starting with you.
Yeah, we always have polls on Facebook for like people to sign up, like what activity they want to do, and like no one really ever fills them out. Probably like 1/3 of the people. So if we had like a voting system on our phone, I feel like people would use that a lot more.
Well, that's awesome. That's great to hear. That was one of the things I thought you might be able to use that for, is poll. And the cool thing about our system too is that if you're using it for your smartphone, it's a completely private experience. I remember when I was a brother, and we would vote on various things. It was almost like a head down at the desk kind of thing, and raise your hand. Yeah. Still doing that?
Yeah, we are.
Right. How many of you guys peek? I'm just wondering. One second. But yeah, that was a problem that we had. We didn't leverage technology at all, and it was all a head down. Let's take a vote. Never failed. People would peek, and people would see how people were voting. And it sounds silly, but sometimes that actually created issues. It created friction between certain members. They're like, I can't believe you voted that way. Even when it's supposed to be this private thing, but it ended up being a private thing. So our system would allow you to truly have a private vote, and you wouldn't have to worry about, you could vote your conscience, right? You don't have to vote for someone out of pressure because what if someone did see it? And you know what I mean? That kind of thing. But anyway, what's your question?
For the minority that either wouldn't have access to this technology or wouldn't necessarily adopt it in the beginning, could you see this replacing the devices that they use for like public voting at the locations, like at schools? Would that replace what's already?
Over time, I think it will. You know, so what we're doing is we want to just provide another option, right? We don't want to come in here and say, all right, stop the way we're voting right now. We're introducing a system and everybody has to use it.
Yeah.
The reality is that's never going to work. You know, certain people feel comfortable doing certain things. You know, like me, for instance, I don't like using the bank, ATM thing. I'd rather go in and talk to the teller. I don't know why. It's weird. I just probably like that face-to-face thing. So some people, just going to demand that they have a centralized polling location that they can go to and vote. Whereas a lot of people, the more and more people I talk to, they want to just be able to grab their phone and vote and be done with it, and take 2 minutes to vote versus going and standing in line for hours on end, waiting for your chance to vote. So the reality is, I think it will be a complement thing that's just complementary to all the various ways people can vote, complementary to absentee voting via paper, or complementary to the centralized polling location. But I think over time, once this technology proves itself out, right, and people see, okay, we've used it, there wasn't an issue, there was no hacking, it was safe. Once we start iterating, we do more and more of those, people will start to really trust the technology and be like, okay, I feel comfortable using it. It's the same thing that happened with shopping online, right? I mean, when first people started to shop online, people were very nervous, like, oh, I don't want to put my credit card information in there. What's going to happen? But over time, as it proved itself out, people started using online shopping more and more. And now everyone shops online. So I imagine it's going to be that same kind of thing. But great question. What size shirt do you wear?
Medium or small?
Medium or small? Ooh, we got large, but these run small, I think.
Okay.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, awesome. So I thought that was one use case that you guys could have. What's cool is that too, like as you guys are voting, it could be a continuous poll. And you guys wouldn't believe how much I've learned along this way. There is so much, and I'm not gonna stand up here and tell you I got it all figured out, because I learn things every single day. I'm constantly growing. I'm always trying to get better, to be better today than I was yesterday. And always try to improve, strive to improve. And to be an entrepreneur, to be a successful entrepreneur, you got to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. You got to be able to stretch yourself, and you got to know. I'll get into some of these other things, but real quickly, we're at this stage, and we're hopefully again working with Nathan. We're going to launch our product towards the end of the year. Now, I'm speaking to everyone here because this applies to life in general. But the biggest thing that I've learned in life is the importance of knowing yourself. Seriously, I mean, this is Socrates. I mean, he said this a long time ago. He was one of the original philosophers that ever existed. But he said, know thyself. It's incredibly important to know yourself inside and out, to know who you are and what kind of person that you are. There's this really eye-opening, really cool thing that I would recommend everybody in this room do. I'll write it down. I can email this presentation to you guys later if you want. But go to 16personalities.com. They have a very quick, it would take maybe 10 minutes, but you can fill out this questionnaire. This to really be an accurate analysis of you gotta be real and you gotta be honest with yourself. And don't answer questions, oh, I would like to be this way. Answer it, I'm this way. You know what I mean? And you're gonna get some pretty interesting analysis. Most people, the military does this, but it's called a Myers-Briggs test. But they basically ask you a series of questions, and then class put you in a personality type. And such as some people are either introverted or extroverted. Some people are intuitive, or there's all different. There's 4 different letters. Like I'm an ENFP, and I know that. If you guys want to know a little bit more about me and how I work, and how I tick, go to 16personalities.com and look up ENFP. But that was a huge eye-opener for me, and I learned a lot about myself just going through that. But you really want to know your strengths and weaknesses. You got to figure out where is your expertise. Know what you're good at. Again, be honest with yourself. Know what you're good at and know what you're not good at. If you're going to go out and start your own business, chances are you're not an expert at everything. So figure out where your areas are weak, and if you're going to try to bring in a co-founder, someone to help you out, make sure that co-founder can check off those boxes. Because you don't want to bring in someone else that's just like you. What's the point of that? You know, you need someone that complements your skills so you can become a more whole thing. And one of the things that they teach you, I went through Dale Carnegie leadership and management training. I actually won an award. Actually, it was with my corporation. There was about 35 people that were in this, and it was a 4-part series. Where at the end of it, they gave out an innovation award for someone who contributed the most. I actually got that. I was really proud of that. But it was a really awesome training that taught you about leadership and management. And when you're building a team, you really want to make sure that you recruit a team that has complementary personality types. Because some personality types really clash with each other, and some are very, very complementary. So it's always helpful to know when you're recruiting who you're potentially bringing on and making sure that they're not going to clash with your organization. Just really quickly, I can't stress it enough. You've got to be passionate. You know, I can tell you how many days I've been working so hard that I look out the window and the sun's coming up, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get to bed. I got to get at least an hour or two of sleep before I can start my next day. I couldn't do that if I wasn't passionate, like truly passionate about what I'm doing. There's no way you'd be up that late in the morning or early in the morning, I should say. So really find out what it is that you're passionate about, and from there try to build a business around it. Okay. Some people are just meant for entrepreneurs. Like I said, I was the kid that started a lawn mowing business when I was 10 years old. I was selling candy on my backpack in middle school. I go to Sam's Club and buy the big bucket and then go sell them one by one, and it was awesome. I was like, when do we go to Sam's next? Let's do it. So it's just in my blood, and I like to have freedom and autonomy and go and do my thing. And so I really learned along the way that I needed to fly. Felt like I had my wings clipped. It's that funny quote. I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly. Yeah, you know that one? Yeah, it's like, all right. But at the end of the day, you got to realize how much work it is. I mean, can you do it? Most people aren't cut out for being an entrepreneur. I mean, it's stressful. It's tough. You're 1 minute you're the highest high you've ever been. You're so excited. The next minute you could be at your lowest low. It's an emotional roller coaster ride. That pulls your strings. So know what you're getting yourself into, and know that. If you're going to be the CEO, if you're going to start your own company, it's on you to succeed. No one else is going to do it for you. You got to be the boss. You got to step up and say, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to find a way to make this company successful. I'm going to figure out how to make money. I'm going to figure out how to survive. So no one else is going to do your work for you. So just be prepared to work hard. But the reality is, it's a big risk to take. But it's a huge reward. The higher the risk, the higher the reward. And I took a big risk. I took my life savings and said, I'm going to go out there. And I quit. I was making well over 6 figures. So I was making around 160K at 28 years old. And I walked away from that because my heart was not in it. And most people work their whole lives to get to a point where they're making that kind of money. And they're sitting pretty. I realized that money wasn't important to me, and that I needed to truly make a difference in order to be fulfilled and be happy. And so, like I said, I walked away. I was able to save up a little money and walked away from a 6-figure salary and said, I'm going to invest all my money in myself. I'm taking a huge risk. And fortunately, it worked out. Along the way, that money didn't last anywhere near as long as I thought it would. So I reached one point where I was out of money. All I had left was my 401k, and I cashed that out. I doubled down on myself and spent every penny I had to try to make this successful. And fortunately, I was able to make it work. And so you need to be willing to take a risk, and just make sure that whatever you risk, you're prepared to lose. Okay? Anyway, these are all the things that I've learned along the way. These are my areas, I would say, of expertise. I would love to help, like I said, transfer any sort of knowledge that I have and pass it along to you guys. I just met with Alex recently. Actually, we went up to Chipotle, and we sat down. And he told me about his entrepreneurship aspirations. And I'm helping. I offered to serve as his mentor and help him become successful. And I'm willing to do that for any of you guys in the room. I truly want to help any way that I can and give back. And if you see any of these things that you want to know more about, shoot me an email. I was hoping to be able to get through this presentation a lot quicker, and I just wasn't able to do it. I apologize. But if any of these things are popping out at you, give me a call, or send me an email, and we can talk about it. I can help teach you what I know about these particular topics. And again, I'm still learning, but I do have knowledge in all these areas. This is my contact information. That's my email address, adam@followmyblue.com. You can't see it. If anybody wants my cell phone number, it's right there, 757-876-8800. Don't remember that? Okay, good. The office location and hours, again, our doors are always open. Stop by. I would love to see you guys. Pop by the Corporate Research Center and say hi. But yeah, this was what I wanted to end with, and then give Will a couple minutes to talk about.
We got
about 8 minutes. This video's 8 minutes long.
we got about 5.
We got about 5 minutes. Are we gonna? Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure. We just have until 7.
All right.
On my show? Yeah. And then if it.
I mean, I'm sure we'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We'll smooth talk them.
Okay. All right.
Not me.
Can anybody, for a t-shirt, can anybody tell me what TGIM stands for? Oh, you got it. Thank God it's Monday. So most people, as E.T., the hip-hop preacher, will tell you, most people think TGIF. I'm waiting for Friday to come so I can go on a weekend and go party and play and do my thing. But what I look forward to is Monday. I mean, that's how passionate I am about my job, my company, and what we're doing. And let me and tell you a little bit about it. This doesn't get you fired up, I don't know.
Somebody asked me, this guy said, Eric, I wasn't expecting it. A guy asked me about 2 months ago, he said, E.T., if there's one mistake you made, what's that one mistake you made? I said, I'll be honest with you. My values are not in alignment with my dreams. He said, E.T., what do you mean by that? I said, I want to tell you a story. I got a good friend of mine he came to me and said, Eric, my marriage is not where my marriage needs to be. I need to make some adjustments. I see you and your wife. I see how much time you spend with your wife, how much time you spend with your children, and I want that. You buy your wife roses regularly. You're always taking her out to eat. Like, I'm watching you. You spoil her. E.T., what can I do? And so I told him what to do, and guess what he started doing, God? He started doing the exact same thing I started doing. He said, Eric, it's not working. Like, I'm doing exactly what you're doing, but it's not working. He said, why isn't it working? I said, you know why it's not working? Because your values and your dreams, you say you want a better marriage. But I told you need to iron your wife's clothes. You know what he told me? Afterwards, I said, I'll be honest with you here. I know. He told me to iron, he told me to wash, he told me to cook. But where I come from, I'm going to be honest here, when I do that, I feel like a punk. And I said, that's why you're having a hard time doing it. Because your value system says a man is not supposed to iron, a man is not supposed to cook, a man is not supposed to wash dishes. That's what your value system says. So you're doing one thing, but you're going against your own value system. The reason why I'm having such an easy time washing clothes and cooking and ironing, you know why? Because nothing is as important to me as my marriage. And I would rather be happy. Than to say I ain't no punk. Make me a punk. I want to be a punk. A happy punk. For real, no. A friend of mine, he came to my house and I didn't have a mop. And so I was on the ground and I was mopping the floor with a towel. And he said, E.T., the hip hop freak, you're on the ground and you're mopping. I said, yeah. He said, your wife got you whipped. I said, you didn't know. You're doing a terrible job. I'm sorry. I am whipped. And after 23 years, you shouldn't be. If you're not, it's a problem. So listen to me. There are those of you who said, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be the best at this company, right? But your value system says you believe in sleep more than you believe in grinding. Your value system says you are a consumer and not a producer. And you're spending more money than you're making. Why? Because you're a consumer, but you're reading all the books and you're saying everything the books are saying. But those books are not in alignment with your values. And if you're going to go to the next level, your values are going to have to change. That's what happened for Eric Thomas. My values about learning change. I realized that information changes situations. So I'd rather buy a book than buy a house. Because if I buy a book, I can buy several homes. If I buy a home and I don't have the right information, God's true. Okay, I'm gonna do this is crazy. I'll be honest with God. You could burn my house down and it wouldn't bother me. Well, how do I know? I had a home that a tornado tore down in Alabama. It bothered me. Why? Because we had blueprints and they could be built. You can take all my money out the bank. If I might go, it might hit the blueprint. If I would tell you my lineup or speaking in our audio book, what we're making every month, we're gonna be all right. Take the knowledge out of my head, take the experiences that I have. So now I don't just read because I see other people reading and I want to mimic what they're doing. I really believe it now. And so all I do when I have time is read. All right, so I got a minute to wait. I've never done this before, but I'm going to get it done. Last one, you got to be obsessed with food. Last one. This was so important because some of the greatest minds are going to be in front of you there. Some people in this room who are not just talking it, they lived it. But here's the problem. The problem with most people is that you're not obsessed with improvement. You're obsessed with making money. You're obsessed with taking your business to the next level. And can I be honest with you guys? When you become obsessed with improvement, I will spend more time learning in Australia than I will speaking. I'm going to say it again because you missed it. I will spend more time sitting under people. I will spend more time with Glenn. I will spend more time with Aaron. I will spend more time learning than I will speaking in this country. I will walk away with stuff I never heard before, books I've never read before, audios I've never seen before, going to conferences that I've never gone, hanging out with people that I've never hung out with before. This is nothing, God. This is just a dessert. Me speaking is just a dessert. This is just the beginning. I came to Australia to learn. I came to Australia to get an upgrade. And when I go back, my wife will notice a difference. My kids will know a difference. Why? I'm obsessed with improvement. Every day I'm getting better. There are those of you with phones, and every new phone that comes out, you get it. Every upgrade, you get it. Every piece of software, you get it. You are upgrading your technology, and you've not upgraded yourself. You have the same operating system you had since 1995. You don't think any different. You don't speak any different. You're the exact same person you were in 2010. I challenge you, the final one. I challenge you. I challenge you, the final one. I challenge you. We got 5 seconds, 4 seconds. I challenge you. Be obsessed with improvement. Be obsessed with improvement. Be obsessed with improvement. And like the lion, go from a gazelle to a lion. Why? Because if you don't kill it, then your family won't eat it.
What you know about dreams? What you know about having faith in something you can't see? Tell me how.
Good stuff? Yeah, had a big impact on me. Real quick, I'm gonna have Will come up and tell you a little bit about what's going on with our internship opportunities, the way you guys can get involved.
So guys, who is looking for an internship? Me too. Just kidding. But we have a lot of cool internship opportunities here at Follow My Vote. We actually have the internship team that just started. We usually have one every semester, including the summer. We're still here. But you can learn a lot. Adam's taught me a lot, and there's a lot that I can teach you. Check us out, followmyvote.com/careers. We can teach you tons of stuff, especially marketing. But if you're really all about what we're doing here at Follow My Vote, come to us, write to us on our contact page, and tell us why or how you think you can provide value at Follow My Vote. And if you're the right person and you have the right skills, we will bend over backwards to try to get you on our team. So check us out on our website. And that's pretty much all I had as far as internship opportunities. Check us out at our booth at Gobbler Fest tomorrow. Some of our current interns will be there. These are a few ways you can get involved. Join our list of supporters. Just go on our website. Right there on the front page, we have an entry where you can select what country you're from, of course the US. But we're getting supporters from all over the world, which is really awesome. Find us on Facebook, like our page, engage with us on social media. We're trying to start a grassroots movement. And we really want our voting system to be something that the people lobby for on our behalf. We don't want it to kind of come down from up top and be like, okay, this is the new system that's being brought to us by our government or by our SGA. We want the people to ask for it because they really want it. And it all starts with a grassroots movement, and that requires people engaging with us online and through our different marketing channels that we use. So that ends up being Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email marketing, whatnot. But yeah, help us spread the word. Any kind of engagement or like or follow goes a long way towards what we're doing. So thanks, Will.
Thank you, guys. So
We have a little less time for Q&A, but if anybody has any last questions, go ahead and
I'm
ask
more
them.
than willing to stay later
As
too.
well.
Afterwards, we can sit down outside.
Yeah.
I'll stay here as long as you guys want to talk.
Definitely.
So does anybody have any questions?
Do you see any applications for this technology besides voting?
Oh yeah, absolutely. People are using blockchain technology for a lot of different things. People have proposed using it to establish history, an agreeable history. I lived in Germany for 3 years. I moved around the world. Depending on where you go, your government teaches you a different history than from one country to another. The government wants you to learn certain things, and so they make sure that you get learned them. You get taught these things. And if you travel enough countries, you realize that there are conflicts in history, and it's hard to believe who's telling you the truth. So one people have proposed is to start building an accurate record of history that people can agree to and add to over time. It's just one use case. Another use case would be making sure that you track deeds, like ownership of property, like the title to your house or title to your car. Be able to spot counterfeits, like art dealers are looking at it right now. There's huge art. Art is like $1 trillion industry. You know what I mean? There's so much value that's being shared, and there are a lot of fakes out there. And so art dealers need a way to properly track who owns the real, legit copy of their artwork. So they're using it for that. But it's really just it's a bookkeeping thing. So people are looking at it for gambling. They're looking at it for all different types of use cases. So it's pretty wild technology. But thank you for the question. Hopefully that answers it.
Oh.
Losing an eye there.
What kind of testing have you done?
As far as testing, what do you mean?
Well, testing to make sure that it's worth it, it's not hackable, even like attempting to hack it or.
I'll let Nathan address that question. Do you hear the question, Nathan?
Yeah, sure. So, from a hackability perspective, it's a good question for me because I have a background in security and I enjoy these kinds of things. So, I don't know how I would hack it. And I have yet to talk to anyone who has any idea how to hack it. So that's pretty much what we define as security. If nobody can figure out how to do something that what they weren't supposed to be able to do, then okay, I guess it's secure. Of course, nobody was complaining necessarily that like the Home Depot was insecure until they got hacked. Like that's how we decided. And so yeah, so you got Bitcoin, and every now and then you will hear about like a Bitcoin exchange getting hacked, or you hear about somebody lost their Bitcoin wallet. But what you've never heard of, because it hasn't happened, is somebody actually hacking Bitcoin itself. It just doesn't happen.
Right. There's about $3.5 billion right now of value secured in Bitcoin. And if someone could hack it, they would have already done so and taken all the money for themselves. It's a bounty basically out there. So if you can hack it, go for it. There's $3.5 billion that's up for grabs.
Right.
And it just hasn't happened yet.
So because our system is based on that same technology, basically, Bitcoin can't be hacked or hasn't been hacked, so we can also say our system can't either.
We're gonna put it to the test. When we launch it, we're gonna say, come one, come all, hackers. Let's do this.
Absolutely.
Try to hack this system. And if there are any security vulnerabilities, we'll be sure to, we'll find out at that point in time. But at this point, I don't think we've uncovered one just yet. Cool. Any other questions?
Do you have a question? Yeah. Do you have a question? If you have a question, I was just going to cut the questions and then just say like the rest of the questions can be asked out there. Okay, cool. So we'll just stop questions there publicly, and then in private, if you guys want to get in contact with Adam, he's going to be out here for a little bit. You can ask him some more questions. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Rush's brothers, I know. I know not everybody here is an entrepreneur or seeking to be an entrepreneur, but I hope you guys learned something, at least one thing today. That's really what these events are all about, is just taking at least one thing away from all of it. Will, Adam, and Nathan, I want to congratulate you guys on your success.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for coming in and talking to fraternity about this. Look forward to seeing you guys. Oh, I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you guys at Gobbler Fest. You guys should check them out.